And speaking of Prince Andrew, on Tuesday, People Senior Royals editor Michelle Tauber was here to give us updates on his daughter's upcoming wedding and his ongoing scandal. Take a look. All right, I'm here with People Senior Royals editor Michelle Tauber is with us. Michelle, always great to see you.
Always great to see you too, Sharon. Thank you.
Excited to chat. Now, recently, the palace announced that Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mopelli-Mozzi will be married on May 29th. And People sources have confirmed that Beatrice's father, Prince Andrew, will be walking his 31-year-old daughter down the aisle. Michelle, what are your sources telling you about this decision? Was there ever any doubt here?
You know, they're close. Andrew is close with both of his daughters, Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, who he previously walked down the aisle, Eugenie. Yeah. So I don't think so much doubt. There was doubt about the date of the wedding. We were told by a source that it was pushed back twice because of Andrew's ongoing scandal, and also the fact that they had to scale down the size of the wedding as well because of that.
Got it. Okay. And ultimately, who really gets to make the decision as to whether Andrew will walk his daughter down the aisle or not? Or is this just between father and daughter? You said they're very close.
Yeah, they are very close. And ultimately, it would be between the two of them. However, we can't forget that this wedding is taking place at Buckingham Palace, otherwise known as Queen Elizabeth's home. So I think we can always expect the Queen, the boss, Granny, to have a weigh-in.
When you're under my roof.
That's right.
Right? Okay, imagine the decision was made the other way around and Andrew wasn't walking Beatrice down the aisle. What kind of impact would that have? How would that look?
I think that would be a hard look, a tough look for Andrew, for the family. I mean, already he's dealing with having, essentially been demoted, stepped down from his sort of role as a leading royal. And so for him to not walk his daughter down the aisle on the biggest day of her life would clearly signal that the family was really trying to even further kind of shove him into the background. Yeah. That said, we have seen this once before. We did see at Meghan and Harry's wedding that, when we expected Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, to walk her down the aisle a week before, we learned that he was not going to be able to do that. And as we know, back then, Prince Charles walked Meghan down the aisle. I suppose he could do it again.
Why not?
Why not? He was good at it.
He was. He did it well.
He did.
Now, I do want to give a quick update on where the Prince Andrew scandal currently stands. Last November, after his rather awkward and at times tone-deaf BBC interview, Prince Andrew issued a statement saying he would be willing to help American law enforcement with their investigation of the sex trafficking allegations against Jeffrey Epstein. And the law has called upon him because U.S. federal prosecutors have taken him up on his offer and they do want to interview him. What do we know about this, Michelle?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Interestingly, one of the U.S. federal prosecutors made an unusual move January, and gave a press conference in front of Jeffrey Epstein's old apartment.
The Southern District of New York and the FBI have contacted Prince Andrew's attorneys and requested to interview Prince Andrew, and to date, Prince Andrew has provided zero cooperation.
Basically called out Andrew and said, we would like to speak with him, but so far we've had zero cooperation. Ouch. Which was a pretty, he was certainly called out for that, yeah.
What are your palace sources telling you about how Andrew or maybe even the palace itself are sort of receiving that statement?
It's hard to know right now because they are really keeping things buttoned up. And I think, there have been many, many meetings internally about how to continue to handle this. The overall sentiment, obviously, in the UK and in the US is not on Andrew's side. Yeah. So we'll have to see how they continue to handle it.
Do you expect Andrew to eventually cooperate with law enforcement? Could he be implicated if he does, and how bad could this be for him?
Yeah, well, I think, it's important to note that Andrew has not been charged with any crime. Could he be implicated in something? It's possible. The thing that legal experts have said is that they would counsel, if Andrew were their client, they would advise that he would plead the fifth if called to testify about this kind of thing, because there is always that possibility of criminal, implication and, getting yourself into even further hot water. So again, he hasn't been charged with anything, but many legal experts say they would advise that the less he says, the better.
Especially after the BBC interview,
right?
I would say,
right.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the victims, Epstein's victims, are calling for transparency here and calling for justice. And with Epstein dead, they're looking at, and so are federal prosecutors, who else, in a way to serve justice, who else may have been involved, and how can those people be held accountable?
Do you expect to see Andrew on U.S. soil again? Is he going to come over here at any point?
My personal bet would be no. And he would probably be advised not to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Michelle, thank you so much. Great reporting as always, and great to have you here in the flesh.
Thank you, Sharon.